Have you ever wondered why some people radiate confidence? They seem to effortlessly attract love and good relationships into their lives. It's not about luck or magic. It all begins in a place we often overlook, within ourselves. Self-love isn't just a beautiful phrase. It's the foundation of any true and meaningful relationship we can build. Think about it for a moment. How can you genuinely love others if you don't first love yourself? It's like trying to fill a cup from an empty pitcher. But what does it really mean to love yourself? It's not about narcissism or selfishness. It's about recognizing, valuing, and treating yourself with the respect and care you deserve. Today, we're going to talk about the transformative power of self-love. It not only affects the relationship you have with yourself, but also how you relate to others. When you learn to accept and value yourself, you automatically raise the standard for how others treat you. Join me on this journey to discover why self-love is the first step toward true love. Get ready to reflect, learn, and most importantly, begin building a relationship with yourself that changes everything. Are you ready to start? Let's go! Self-love is not something that magically appears. It is a conscious and ongoing practice that transforms how we see the world and how the world sees us. But before diving deeper, let's pause to understand what self-love truly means. Self-love is not an act of selfishness nor an excuse to justify narcissistic behavior. At its core, it is a healthy relationship with yourself. It is recognizing yourself as a valuable person, with flaws and virtues, and treating yourself with the same respect and compassion you would offer to someone you deeply love. It's not about achieving perfection, but rather accepting who you are in this very moment. Now, let's address some myths that might be holding you back. One of the most common is the belief that loving yourself means stopping growth, as if accepting who you are equates to settling. In reality, it's the opposite. Self-love creates a solid foundation from which you can evolve. Another common myth is the idea that you need to meet certain standards before you deserve self-love. Losing weight, achieving a goal, or being perfect. The truth: you don't need to meet any conditions to love yourself. Self-love is a right, not a reward. Why is cultivating this relationship with yourself so crucial? Because self-love acts as a filter in every decision you make, every relationship you build, and every step you take. When you learn to value yourself, you start attracting situations and people that reflect that value. Furthermore, it protects you from toxic relationships and gives you the strength to say no when something isn't in your best interest. Self-love isn't just a pretty concept. It's a powerful tool that impacts every aspect of your life. Now that we've clarified what it means and what it doesn't, are you ready to explore it more deeply? Let's keep building together. The benefits of self-love. The impact of self-love reaches far beyond what we can imagine. It's like a strong root that supports a tree, with its benefits extending into every aspect of our lives. But how does this translate into what we experience daily? First, let's talk about mental and emotional health. When you value yourself, you create an inner space of security. This doesn't mean that problems magically disappear, but it does mean you have tools to face them. Criticism, failures, and insecurities no longer hold as much power over you because you understand they don't define your worth. Additionally, self-love reduces the impact of stress and anxiety, giving you clarity to resolve situations calmly. Now, Think about relationships. Have you ever wondered how self-love affects the way you connect with others? It's a radical change. When you respect yourself, you establish healthy boundaries and no longer accept less than you deserve. Rather than pushing people away, this strengthens genuine relationships. At the same time, it allows you to give your best without feeling drained or empty because the love you give doesn't come from a place of need, but rather from a place of fullness. And then there's personal growth. Self-love doesn't just push you forward, it liberates you. It encourages you to explore your talents, overcome fears, and pursue your goals. It's the driving force that reminds you of your capabilities, even on the toughest days. It's not about ignoring your flaws, but rather seeing them as opportunities to learn and evolve. When you look at all of this together, self-love stops being just an ideal and becomes a necessity. It's the foundation for a more balanced, happier, and authentic life. Isn't it incredible how something so simple can transform so much? Strategies for cultivating self-love. Self-love doesn't appear overnight. It's a process, a commitment to yourself that's built through daily actions. But how can you make it a real and consistent part of your life? It all starts with daily practices. Positive affirmations, for instance, are more powerful than they seem. It's not just about repeating phrases in front of a mirror, but about intentionally reminding yourself of your worth. Saying things like, "I deserve good things," or "I am enough just as I am," can gradually transform your mindset. It's like planting seeds. At first, you might not see changes, but one day, you'll notice something blooming within you. Self-care also plays a crucial role. This doesn't just mean indulging in occasional treats, but attending to your physical and emotional needs. Getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, spending time on activities that energize you, and allowing yourself to rest when your body and mind need it are all acts of respect for yourself. Then, there's the topic of boundaries. We often forget that saying no is also a form of self-love. Learning to identify what drains you, what doesn't serve you, and setting firm boundaries is liberating. It's a clear message that you value your well-being enough to protect it. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, but with each boundary you set, you strengthen your confidence. Finally, self-evaluation and reflection. Taking the time to observe your thoughts, emotions, and actions gives you a clearer perspective on who you are and where you're headed. Asking yourself questions like, "What do I need?" or "How can I be kinder to myself?" helps you recalibrate when necessary. It's an honest, compassionate inner dialogue. Each of these strategies, though small, has the power to transform your relationship with yourself. Cultivating self-love isn't a task to check off a list. It's a continuous journey. But with each step, you'll discover you're capable of much more than you imagined. And the best part, every step counts. Overcoming obstacles on the path to self-love. The journey towards self-love isn't always straightforward. It's often filled with barriers we've built over time, sometimes without even realizing it. But overcoming these obstacles is possible, and every step brings us closer to a more authentic and fulfilled version of ourselves. First, let's identify those limiting beliefs holding us back. These are the internal phrases that have become a constant echo. "I'm not enough," "I don't deserve happiness," "I always fail." But where do they come from? Perhaps from past experiences, external criticism, or unrealistic expectations. Recognizing them is the first step to breaking free. Ask yourself, Does this belief truly reflect who I am or what I'm capable of? Often, you'll find it's merely a shadow from the past that no longer holds power over you. Next, there's inner criticism, that voice that seems to enjoy pointing out every flaw or mistake. While you can't silence it completely, you can change its tone. Instead of fighting it, try having a dialogue. When it says, "You failed again," respond with, "I'm learning, and that's okay." Practicing self-compassion isn't indulgence. It's a courageous act that allows you to move forward without the chains of constant judgment. Finally, forgiveness. Forgiving yourself is one of the most challenging yet liberating acts. It's about accepting that you're human, that you make mistakes, and that those mistakes don't define you. Instead of punishing yourself for what you did or didn't do, ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" Every mistake is an opportunity to grow, not a sentence to live in guilt. Overcoming these obstacles doesn't happen overnight. It's an ongoing process, but every small step you take strengthens you. At the end of the journey, you'll find that self-love isn't a destination but a daily practice worth every effort. Self-love as the foundation for healthy relationships. Self-love doesn't just transform your relationship with yourself, it also redefines how you connect with others. It's the foundation upon which healthy, genuine, and lasting relationships are built. And it all begins with how you see and value yourself. When you cultivate self-love, your choices in partners change. You no longer seek to fill emotional voids or find someone to complete you. Instead, you look for an authentic connection with someone who respects and values you for who you are. Self-love acts as a filter, helping you identify relationships that enhance your life and steering you away from those that don't. A person who values themselves is less likely to tolerate toxic behavior or unbalanced relationships. The impact of self-love is also evident in communication. Someone who respects themselves has clarity in expressing their feelings, needs, and expectations. The connection between self-love and effective communication becomes clear when, instead of fearing conflict, you seek to resolve it respectfully. This not only strengthens the relationship, but also creates an environment where both parties feel heard and understood. On this journey, mutual respect becomes the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. Relationships aren't perfect, but with self-love as a guide, you learn to set clear boundaries and honor both your needs and your partner's. Respect isn't just something you demand, it's something you give, recognizing that both individuals have their own value, space, and growth. Self-love doesn't isolate you. It prepares you to connect from a place of authenticity and strength. By building relationships from this foundation, you ensure connections that not only survive but thrive. Because when you love yourself, you can truly love others. Inspiring stories about self-love and true love. Self-love has the power to transform lives. It's not just a concept, it's a lived experience, as countless stories have shown. Let's explore some examples of how self-love can pave the way to personal growth and authentic connections. One individual shared how learning to set boundaries and value their worth changed everything. They had spent years in relationships that drained them emotionally, constantly seeking validation from others. But once they began practicing self-love, they realized they deserved better. By prioritizing their well-being and saying no to toxic dynamics, they eventually found a partner who respected and cherished them. Their journey wasn't about finding someone to complete them, but rather about building a relationship rooted in mutual respect and love. Another person recounted how self-love helped them overcome self-doubt and embrace their true potential. Struggling with feelings of inadequacy, they started practicing daily affirmations and reframed their inner dialogue. Over time, their confidence grew, and they began pursuing goals they had once thought were out of reach. Their newfound self-respect also improved their relationships, attracting friends and partners who uplifted and supported them. These stories remind us that self-love isn't just about improving our relationship with ourselves. It's also about creating the foundation for deeper, more meaningful connections with others. When you prioritize your own well-being and happiness, you open the door to relationships that align with your values and enhance your life. The role of community in self-love. Self-love doesn't happen in isolation. The people we surround ourselves with play a significant role in shaping how we see and value ourselves. Building a supportive community can make a profound difference in our journey towards self-love. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift and encourage you is vital. These are the friends, family members, or mentors who remind you of your worth and inspire you to be your best self. They listen without judgment, celebrate your successes, and stand by you during challenges. Their presence reinforces the belief that you are deserving of love and respect, not just from others but from yourself. Support groups and communities dedicated to self-growth can also have a positive impact. Whether it's a book club, a yoga class, or an online forum, connecting with like-minded individuals who share your values can provide encouragement and accountability. These groups create safe spaces where you can share your journey, learn from others, and find inspiration. While self-love is an internal process, it's deeply influenced by the external environment. By cultivating relationships and communities that reflect kindness, respect, and understanding, you reinforce the practices of self-love in your own life. Final reflections on self-love and true love. Self-love is not a destination. It's a journey, a continuous process of growth, reflection, and acceptance. Through self-love, you evolve into a stronger, more authentic version of yourself. This evolution not only enhances your relationship with yourself, but also elevates your connections with others. True love begins with self-love. It's the foundation upon which healthy, fulfilling relationships are built. When you prioritize your own well-being, you attract relationships that align with your values and enrich your life. You no longer settle for less than you deserve because you know your worth. So, take a moment to reflect. What steps can you take today to nurture your relationship with yourself? How can you practice kindness, patience, and acceptance in your daily life? The journey may not always be easy, but it's worth it. With each step, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the transformative power of self-love. Remember, when you begin to value and care for yourself, everything in your life starts to align in a more authentic and meaningful way. That first step, though challenging, leads you to the truest love of all, the love you have for yourself. If this content resonated with you, don't forget to leave a like and share it with someone who might need this message. Subscribe to the channel for more reflections, advice, and tools to help you grow and connect with yourself. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos. See you in the next episode. Until then, Take care of yourself and keep moving forward toward your best self. See you soon.